We've reached out to both RTÉ and to the Rotunda about the programme, and I have statements from both, which I'm holding here in my hand today. We've asked them both if they'd like to join us on the programme. Look, the statements, like they're lengthy enough statements. They're two of the same, effectively. We can put them up on the Twitter page if you want to have a look at them. The filming took place between November of last year and September of this year. There's a couple of questions, though. There's a couple of questions still to be answered from these statements here today. For instance, they talk about, like, we reduce the footfall in the hospital to the bare minimum, with a lot of the shooting and the filming taking place off site. What's the bare minimum? So how many people were actually in the hospital to record the programme? They talk about the majority of the filming as well being shot and recorded by remote cameras controlled from outside the building. How did the cameras get there? They don't direct themselves. A team had to go in previously and put up those cameras, or were they cameras that were still up from the previous Rotunda programmes? They talk about additional research also being produced, just as Sue and Dara mentioned there, been produced by a single person or on occasion by a compact 2-person crew. So was there one person? Was there two people? Was it the same one person or the same two people? Were they different people? Were they doing shifts? Infection prevention and control protocols were followed at all time. So were they vaccinated? They couldn't have been vaccinated if the shooting of this started back in November of last year. Was there PCR or antigen tests carried out as well before this? We actually, since we've got these two statements, we've actually gone back as well to RTÉ this afternoon to ask them very specifically, were antigen tests used in the production of the TV series? And the subsequent statement we have here now from RTÉ is to respond to say we won't be commenting outside of our statement. Public service broadcaster. I don't know why they can't comment and answer the question whether or not antigen tests were used, given that this was at the height of the restrictions. And Sue Murphy was right. Fergal Malone was on with Pat Kenny here on News Talk just last month, and like a lot of reasonable people would have very much accepted what Fergal said at the time when he talked about the need to not have multiple numbers of people in the hospital, given the age of the hospital, the infrastructure and the small size and proximity of some of the units and the wards in the facility, that they couldn't have large numbers of people there. He talked as well about the fact that if more people got vaccinated, that more restrictions would be eased. But the problem today is that what people are annoyed about is that at the time when all of that was being said and people were adhering to all of these restrictions, the partners, like Dara, there today, are sitting out in the car at the Garden of Remembrance while his partner or his wife is inside with their newborn baby. It makes a complete mockery of the restrictions now, that there's unvaccinated or non-tested people, we don't know, because as RTÉ say they're not going to be commenting outside the statement, in recording and shooting the programme at a time when the partners are sitting out in the car